Yo, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV. We are back with another video, and in this video we are here to talk about the 6th episode of the American crime drama television miniseries The Penguin, which is a spinoff of the Batman. We have Gold Summit. It's written by producer Nick Town and directed by Kevin Bray, so we kind of have some new territory coming into here. I don't really want to waste any time. This is a really dope episode to get this plot line kind of moving forward. Let's talk about it. Again, I just want to put this warning out there. This is a spoiler review. We're going to talk about exactly what happens, and trust me, there's a lot of spoilers to be given out. A lot of people die in this show. With the 2 remaining buckets of bliss, Oz reorganizes his criminal empire in the Underground Railway, kind of trying to recover those buckets from the whole standoff with the Maronis. Sometime later, the Bliss business has picked up steam with major gangs involved in its distribution, so he's actually getting it off the ground. It's actually looking pretty good. Nevertheless, Victor begins to worry about possible repercussions if their base of operations is discovered. He's being really fucking smart, and honestly, Oz is being super dumb because Victor has been in Crown Point. He knows the people around, and that's cool to have a guy like that around. So Sal has moved in anyway with Sofia at her mansion as they prepare to establish their next move against Oz. While Sofia believes the triads will remain loyal to her, Sal is certain that they will side with Oz due to the Bliss. So there's kind of a conflict there. There's obviously so many different players, so many different gangs, and I feel like in the last 2 episodes, this show is going to do a really good job at integrating those, especially when we see what happened at the end. We will get to that in a second. To send a message, Sofia's henchmen murder Oz's distributors and publicly hang them. Oz decides that instead of leaving it with the other gangs, he assigns his crew to drop Bliss all around town for free. Like, he's not even going to make profit. He's not even going to make money off of it. He's like, you know what? Get our fucking product out there. Get our name out in the mainstream. Let's do it. Sofia and Sal break into Oz's apartment, but find nothing valuable as he has no known relatives. While checking his bedroom, Sofia finds a signed photo of Eve, so that kind of becomes her mission for the rest of the episode. Find Eve, kind of fuck with her, get some stuff out of her, that sort of situation. Maybe even kill her, probably, because she's trying to find stuff that Oz cares about, and she really wants this shit to hurt. She's kind of an evil bitch, really. Oz kind of deserves it sometimes. So then we get to Frances, who her dementia is getting super bad, and the show is just like throwing it on us that she has dementia. Staying hours in cold water in the bathtub until Oz arrives to take her out. That's fucking crazy. Frances makes Oz promise that he will help in letting her die before her condition becomes too severe, which he reluctantly agrees. A lot of old people kind of get to that point in their lives where it's like, dude, just fucking kill me. Like, there's no point in me being here. I am a vegetable, and she literally fucking said that. I thought that was kind of crazy. Hating that the neighborhood, Crown Point, is out of power, obviously, there's a lot of politics that goes into that when you're talking about poor neighborhoods and the government not giving 2 shits about less fortunate people. You kind of get that. Oz threatens Councilman Sebastian Haiti into restoring it, which was kind of fucking funny, honestly, because he's not supposed to be a down in the dumps guy. He used to be a right-hand man for a legit, gangster. Victor is approached by Squid, a gang member who initially tasked him in stealing Oz's car rims. So this is kind of a crazy full circle moment, who wants to take part of his drug operation. He wants to work with them. He wants to have a stake. He wants to make some money. Understandable. Victor tells Squid there is no room for him, who turns aggressive and demands to meet with Oz, threatening to expose them if he doesn't, because he's kind of seen him snoop around with Francis and stuff like that, Victor seemingly complies, but instead shoots him in the neck, killing him, which was fucking crazy, and that was an awesome moment for Victor to kind of lose his gangster virginity almost in that aspect. That was crazy. A shaken Victor informs Oz that the problem was solved, and despite not saying that he killed him, Oz tells him he did the right thing. Again, Oz knows the ropes. He's been around. He's a fucking gangster. He used to be a driver for Sofia. He used to get up there, almost was a made man for the Falcones. He knows exactly what happened, and he knew the body language, and it was kind of funny to see that scene. I know my hair looks crazy. I just got headphones on my head, so for stream. Check it out, GZTV Live on Twitch, all lowercase, by the way. Sofia visits Eve at her apartment, and despite holding her at gunpoint, Eve is not afraid of her, as she actually led Sofia to her to protect the other prostitutes, and honestly, that was so fucking awesome of Eve. Now, Eve's not really a character that I've cared about too much throughout the series, but that action alone from her was awesome. I love that she did that. Eve will not disclose anything about Oz, and that Oz himself would not rescue her regardless. Sofia then reveals that Oz was complicit with Carmine in the murders of the young women Sofia was blamed for as the hangman, so you're kind of dating a guy that got your girls fucking killed, your best friends, your peers killed. Sofia spares her, prompting Eve to finally reveal that he is hiding in Crown Point. She's like, you know what? Go fucking find him. He's a bitch. Fuck him now. A lot of things are setting up against Oz, and I feel like it's gonna blow up in his face, but we're gonna have to find out in the next 2 episodes. It's gonna be fun to watch. Oz sets up a meeting named Gold Summit, which is why the episode's called this, among all gang leaders of the city, asking them to cooperate in his fight against the Gigantes, the Maronis, and the upper elite. He's kind of fighting against everyone here. He needs numbers. Zhao of the Treeheads is not convinced by Oz's leadership due to his backstabbing nature, but Oz wins them over by revealing he killed Alberto Falcone and that their complete control of the city will undermine the wealthy citizens. It's kind of like an eat the rich sort of mentality, and those are always awesome in in shows when they do that. It's not really a relatable thing. It's kind of like a, yeah, you fucking get them, you know? Oz did a really good job of talking through this. Obviously, there's a lot of plot convenience that people are just automatically, boom, flipping a switch and complying with him because of that, but, you know, it is what it is. The electricity returns to Crown Point, alarming Frances. Of course, she fucking freaks out, and as Victor consoles her, they start dancing together, completely unaware that Sofia has broken into the apartment with a crowbar. So, boom, boom, boom. So many dope cliffhanger moments in this episode, and I feel like this episode does better than most episodes at adding the cliffhangers. It's kind of crazy. Let's get into the review. So speaking of reviews, I feel like this is on kind of a level that episode 5 was. I will give this a B- just straight out of the gate. It's okay. It's pretty good. I mean, even when it feels like it's spinning its wheels, the Penguin still has enough juice to squeeze captivating moments out of its characters. Victor and Eve are confronted with the consequences of being connected to Oz, which is awesome to see, gaining a good helping of complexity in the process. But while Gold Summit does necessary work to drive towards the endgame battle between Oz and Sofia, the seemingly never-ending sense of build-up has you kind of impatiently waiting, and the fact that you know that there's another episode in between, it kind of is costly for this show itself. It's possible on reflection that this is the Penguin operating as it's intended to, a tense, quick-moving drama that milks genuine unease out of the damaged personalities at its core. Maybe it's supposed to be a slow burn. Maybe they're trying to get that out of the fans, you know? The episode's most emotionally unsettling moment has nothing to do with mob shenanigans or implied threats, and comes instead as Oz and Vic get into a queasy sibling rivalry about how best to keep Frances happy. That was the most tense moment of the entire episode. But it continues to fail to make its case that the Penguin himself is a worthy figure of this level of TV scrutiny. Like, it's almost like a lot of people steal the spotlight from Oz, and he's not even on a pedestal really as a character on this show. Interesting things happen here, interesting scenes are created, interesting performances deployed, but this is an interesting story. Jury's still out, which is rough news with just 2 episodes left to go. It is what it is. It's hardly a spoiler to point out that the Penguin is about Oscorp's rise to power, and this episode shows us what'll get him to the top of the Gotham heap at the end. You know, getting numbers together, getting all these criminals together. That's kind of the end goal. Every crumbling institution of the city, from the halls of justice to the back rooms of Crown Point, is a pressure point that demands attention and demands Oz's, you know, way with words to get people to join his side, you know. And Oz knows you have to work them all to rule them all, obviously. The gangs accept. They drink to their new business partner and to taking back Gotham. But there's no rest for the wicked. Sofia finds Oz's mother, and holy shit, I'm pretty interested in seeing how that's gonna fucking end up, like, seriously. When it admits that it's a show about Batman characters, the Penguin shows that supervillains are people too, and interesting, compelling ones at that. And it's very cool to kind of see them, like when we saw them go through the flashbacks, because now that I'm thinking about it, a while ago I was actually watching Gotham, the TV series about, like, Batman, pretty much, like in a different universe, and they told some backstories about villains, and that really reminded me of that, and that show was awesome. I honestly liked when they did that better, like maybe a Gotham style show. You don't want to copy that show. Moving the story forward, they haven't done the craziest job at it. I'm not complaining. It's still a B- episode. I still think it's really solid, but it's very interesting. Sure, the whole eat the rich storyline has been done to death in recent years, but it's always had strong ties to the mythology of Batman, and the DCEU has really taken that concept and ran with it and done it well. We've become accustomed to stories in Gotham where Bruce Wayne sulks around his mansion. By comparison, the Penguin is successfully able to paint a portrait not just of one of the Caped Crusaders' biggest foes, but also of those underrepresented groups, you know, the ones that we don't get to see in the Batman as much. We've always known Gotham as a city in shambles, but the Penguin succeeds in showing us why it is the way it is. I think that's a great thing, you know, getting into Crown Point and showing the shitty, poor environment. I think that's a cool thing about the show for sure. That is definitely a big positive. His whole haves and have-not speech felt like an attempt by the writers to inject some social commentary, but it didn't quite fit. I will say the speech was Even if it aimed to show Oz's manipulative best, the message came off as forced, an attempt to depth that didn't really land in the gritty world of high-stakes crime. There were some times in the episode where he was going and you were like, alright dude, come on now. After all, these are crime lords, not low-level street thugs. Like, we're talking about gang leaders. We're talking about guys that kill people with fucking ease and get away with it every time. Though Bliss gave us insight into Victor, the last episode gave us insight into, or no, it was a couple episodes ago, Victor's tragic backstory and how he'd eventually get involved with Oz. This episode puts him at the forefront of things. At this point, he thinks he's above the old system, but this episode actually gives him that needed push. So that was cool. It was good for Eve's character. It was good for Victor's character. I think it was good at, again, painting the picture of Crown Point and really taking us through that world and like how shitty of a place Gotham can be when you're not in the rich neighborhoods. neighborhoods, ironically, when you're not with Bruce Wayne and Batman in this mansion. So that's cool. But anyways, I think I'm going to end the video off here. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, it has been your boy GZTV. I'm sorry if I'm not like super analytical. I'm kind of reading critics and kind of trying to bounce my ideas off of them. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll be happy to reply to anybody. Coming up this week, I think we're going to watch another Penguin episode pretty shortly because we only have 2 left, and I really want to finish the series like this week. So there you go.